Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
So we welcome everyone. सभी का स्वागत करते हैं. So we'll read something from Bhagavad Gita. भगवान के कुछ शब्द हैं, आपके साथ में चर्चा करते हैं. Very grateful, of course, to the host, and more importantly to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, भगवान जिन्होंने आज का जो समय है, आज का जो तिथि है, इसको नियुक्त किया है कि हम आप सब एक सत्संग में एकत्र हो और कुछ भगवान के शब्दों पर ध्यान करें. So we just chant Jai Radha Madhava for a few minutes and then we'll read from Bhagavad Gita. Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana ऐसी भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। इस्कॉन बीपीटी फाउंडाचार्य श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। इस्कॉन गुरु वृंद की जय। श्री गुरु परंपरा की जय। गंगामयी जमुनामयी की जय। भक्ति देवी तुलसी महारानी की जय। नाम आचार्य श्री हरदास ठाकुर की जय। प्रेम से कौशी कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद की जय। श्री श्री गौर निताय भगवान की जय। श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गोप गोपीनाथ श्याम कुंड राधा कुंड गिरि गोवर्धन की जय। श्री श्री सीताराम लक्ष्मण भक्त हनुमान की जय। साई गो प्रेमानंद। All glories assembled, all glories assembled, all glories to Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga. Om Ajnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakya Chakshur Unmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. So everyone can repeat after me. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. 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 Om Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Tama Krishna Goswami Tinamine Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Tinamine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschate Shatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivashati Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. So once again, welcome everyone. I also welcome everyone on my Zoom class that's supposed to happen. So we'll try and run both the programs together. So मैंने सोचा जब हम आ रहे थे, so I was reading some Bhagavad Gita on the airplane. So I was reading chapter 3 of Bhagavad Gita, verse number 5. Very nice. इसमें बताया गया है, ना ही कश्चित क्षणम अपि जातु तिष्ठान ति अकर्मकृत कार्यते ही अवशः कर्म सर्व प्राकृति जतिर्गुणे. Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Everyone is forced to act helplessly according to the qualities he has acquired from the modes of material nature. Therefore, no one can refrain from doing something, not even for a moment. So, अर्जुन भगवान को पूछते हैं, और भगवद गीता जो है अर्जुन और कृष्ण का संवाद है, the conversation. Understanding God is about a conversation. It is not one-way traffic. It is not only that scriptures are saying and everyone has to just simply accept. You have the right to question, you have the right to understand, and the Bhagavad Gita is a conversation between Krishna and Arjuna. And Arjuna is just like representing us, he has certain doubts, like we all do have. And Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, therefore he is clarifying the doubts. Why he has the ability to clarify all the doubts? Because he is the knower of everything. Sarvasya chaham redishanna vishto mata smitir jnanam apohanam cha vedesya sarve raham eva vedyo vedanta krita veda videva chaham. So Krishna is saying that I am the compiler of all the Vedic literatures, all that there is, all knowledge, the whole different schools of thought, and all the knowledge, the spiritual and material knowledge that exists, it all emanates from the Supreme Personality of God. Therefore, he is rightfully the knower of everything. So, here, Krishna is describing a situation that we all go through. What is the situation? Many a times, very much on practical level, it appears that we don't want to do certain things, but we still do it. And it appears as if we are forced to act, and we are basically helpless. So, the Bhagavad Gita is saying, why does someone act in a certain way? it is result of the qualities acquired from the different modes of material nature. So this world, we know there is earth, water, fire, air, ether, sky. The ingredients of everything that there exists in this world, everything is made with these Mahat Tattva ingredients. Right? Generally we all know about ourselves. So we all know we are made of earth, water, fire. So at the time of death, when the soul leaves, either we cremate, or either we bury, burial, we do burial. So then we say the earth merges into earth, the fire into fire, air into air, space into space, like that. So all these ingredients, how do they get activated? They get activated by the glance of Lord Vishnu. So that element that creates different combinations are the three modes of material nature. So it is all dependent on how the ingredients are being combined, then different bodies are produced, and then with that influence we act. Sometimes, we don't want to do things, it's like the heart is saying, don't do it, yet we can't resist. Or in common man's language we say, it's a temptation, temptation that cannot be resisted. But the science behind it is that it is all happening because of the modes of material nature. So even if you want to refrain, no one can refrain from doing something, not even for a moment. So we always do something. Either we are thinking, there's really, when we say, as the English saying goes, idle mind is a devil's workshop. But actually the mind is not idle at any point in time. The reason it is said the idle mind is a devil's workshop is when the mind is not God conscious, when the mind is not Krishna conscious, that's when the sinful thoughts arise. That's why it is called devil's workshop. But literally the mind is always at work. It is always thinking, it is planning something. And what does the mind want? The mind wants happiness. Just like I was sharing with the devotees when I came here and everyone is asking me, is it very cold? It is very cold. I said, I want to ask you, why do you want to come into the cold place? The mind has some aspiration. The mind thinks, the grass is greener on the other side, Of course, it may be greener, but it may be cold and green. So Srila Prabhupada explains that even for a moment we cannot exist without doing anything. It is not a question of embodied life, but it is the nature of the soul to be always active. Without the presence of the spirit soul, the material body cannot move. Whilst living, we don't realize. We think, it requires a very scientific process or some scientific gadget, what is soul? We can't see soul. We have to get into some meditation, some transcendental meditation, do some yam, niyam, asan, dhyan, yoga or something like that, so that we can recognize the soul. But it is a very easy thing. When somebody dies, we can very easily see that the body is exactly the same, but it is considered dead. Why is it considered dead? Because the soul is left. So when the soul is left, then it should trigger a question in the mind that actually we are not this body. That's why the soul is left. If I were to ask your identity now, you'd say, I'm a man, I'm a woman, I'm such and such, I'm a boy, I'm a girl, I'm educated, I'm this by profession. So basically you identify yourself with the various identities of the body. But Srila Prabhupada explains very nicely, he gives a very nice example. Just like, this is your house, The owner, you ask Dinesh, he will say, this is my house. He will never say, this is I house, because he's not the house. He's the owner of this house. So similarly, we don't say, this is I eyes, I body, I nose, I ears. We say, my. So an intelligent person wants to understand, who is that person who's calling mine? Whose house is this? So we want to know the owner of the house. Very simple. It's very simple. You may think it's too difficult, but it's very simple. And I think in today's generation, our children, they have these very simple questions. Generally all of us are parents, so we raise our small children. So when you are raising children, for everything they want to know why. Why is it like this? Why is it like that? Why is it like this? So this why is actually coming from the source of all the knowledge. This is exactly what is being said here. So the spirit is the main thing. The spirit is the main thing. But look at the wonderful creation of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, Bhagavan's creation, that he has so intelligently designed everything that this whole creation, this whole existence, our own existence, which is going to come to an end, but as long as we are, the soul and the body are connected, it is so perfectly presented that we think, this is the reality. And therefore we do everything centered around the body, the so-called reality. The so-called reality. It's a very, the few verses that's going to follow is very nice way Krishna is actually explaining to Arjun. The body is only a dead vehicle to be walked by the spirit soul, which is always active and cannot stop even for a moment. As such, the spirit soul has to be engaged in the good work of Krishna consciousness. Otherwise, it will be engaged in occupations dictated by illusory end. Because the Supreme Personality of Godhead loves us, so we all have a minute independence, small freedom. Because if there is no freedom, then it will become slavery. God doesn't want slavery. Krishna doesn't want slavery. Krishna doesn't force anyone. Although here the discussion is that we act in this world helplessly as if being forced, but God never forces us. If you believe He is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, this earth, what I have, ether, sky is provided. If you don't believe, you are an atheist, you still live, you still breathe. He still provides for everything. Why does He do that? Because He is the Supreme Father. And the relationship between the Spirit Soul and the Supreme Father is that of love. Love is not forced. Love is not slavery. Love is by choice. So to be able to choose, one has to have freedom. You cannot force anyone to choose something, someone. So Krishna is actually giving us the whole freedom. So it is upon the living entity, if you want to be connected in good work, or otherwise be connected in works which is opposite of good. So either we are connected in pious activity, or we are connected in sinful activity. The results of pious activity, you do good unto others, good will be done unto you. You hurt others, hurt will come back to you. But both are conditioned state. Both are creating conditions. So if you have done good to others, then you must be rewarded. If not in this lifetime, you need another life to be rewarded. So it's very simple to deduce the fact that if good has not come back to you, but you deserve to receive the good, and you have not received the good in this lifetime, that means you will have to be born again. So that means after death, there is going to be a life. And similarly, when you avoid the word of God, or what we say sinful activities you do, and that is very easy to understand. So you do bad to others, bad will happen to you. So you need to be punished. So if you don't receive the punishment in this lifetime, you have to be born again. So under both actions, there is going to be the situation of being born again. If you are being born again, that means you will go through the conditions of this world. We all believe that civilization is progress, the world is advancing, whilst we enjoy all these things. But no enjoyment of this world is eternal, is everlasting. There's some obstruction that happens. Either the obstruction is called, there's three types of obstructions that happen in our existence in this world. Either it is called Adi Devik. Adi Devik means by material nature. There's a storm, there's winter, or summer is too hot. So Adi Devik. Adi Devik means by the universal administrators, certain things happen. And can we change it? No. What can we do?
Tolerate.
We can tolerate, and we can just make some little arrangements. Making that little arrangements is a form of tolerating it. So if it's winter, maybe just put an extra jacket or something like that. So then you can tolerate it. So this cannot be avoided, but you use your choice to tolerate it. Then there is Adi Bhautika. Adi Bhautika means other living entities. Other living entities. Trump is making some laws, it's very painful. Most of you are from Fiji, so the military does something, you have to run away from Fiji. So things like that. It is Adi Bhautik. Or a mosquito bites you from other living entities. What can you do? Just have to tolerate. Make some little situational adjustments or circumstantial adjustments. But life has to go on. And then if these obstacles don't come your way, then obviously the obstacles generated from your mind will happen, which is called Adi Atmika. Adi Atmika is, there's some people who may not have enough to eat. So they are all very miserable. They want to earn something. Those who are able to earn, they are miserable about the fact that, they are not able to earn $1 million. Those who are millionaires, they are miserable about the fact that they are not billionaires. So in any condition, either the material nature will create obstruction, either other living entities will create obstruction. If nothing creates obstruction, your own mind will create obstruction. The nature of this world is misery. Dukhalayam ashashvatam. Everything you attempt to do or put all your effort to doing, just like you are having a meal. You're very hungry. The first nivala is very tasty. The second one might be even better. The third one might be okay. Then what do they call in economics? The law of diminishing marginal value. Depreciation. Law of diminishing marginal value. So, the law is, initially the satisfaction will be going up. Then after that, you're eating rasgulla, 1 is fine, 2 is even better, 3 is best. The fourth one is, it's getting a little nauseated. 5th, 6th, 7th, you start throwing out. So you started with so much excitement, so much hope, you'll enjoy it, it'll be fun. It'll be so satisfying. But ultimately it turns into misery. So here Krishna is saying that the spirit soul has to be engaged in some work. No one can sit idle. And neither the path of spirituality is saying that we should become inactive. I think some of the difficulty that we face in today's world, and especially within the Sanatana Dharma, that our future generations or our descendants or our children or younger generation are not taking so much keen interest into all these things, is because basically they think spirituality means giving up everything. You have to give up your job, you have to give up your home, you have to give up your family, We still carry this notion of, spirituality from Satyuga, when you have to leave everything, go into the Himalayas and meditate, sit in meditation. This is not practical for this, especially the souls in this present day and age. We all need to do something. If you don't do something, actually, materially surviving is very difficult. And if the mind is not, if the mind is in a constant state of disturbance, then how do you focus it into spirituality? So it's really achieving a balance in life, and this is how Srila Prabhupada influenced the whole world. Just within a short span of 12 years, Prabhupada circled the globe 14 times, establishing 108 temples and thousands of disciples, and writing and getting disciples to distribute millions of copies of Bhagavad Gita and the Vedic literatures for the enlightenment of this world. And you see, so many people are enlightened into Krishna consciousness. And the process is effective. It works. It works. It has worked for me. It has worked for him. It has worked for him. It has worked for Mataji. It works. So we cannot say that, how do we believe? That's why Krishna consciousness, Prabhupada has always presented it and said this, Krishna consciousness is a science of God. Science means, just like we do lab test in school, we do labs. So there's ingredients, there's a process, and there is a definite outcome. So when we take the ingredients and follow the steps, the outcome is assured. So sometimes we did experiments in school, we had the ingredients, we followed the process, but sometimes we tweak the process. We just want a quick result, and therefore students will do something and miss a step or something like that. Then the result is different. And when that lab test is sort of assessed by the teacher, because the result is not there, so you get marked down. So that's exactly what happens in spirituality. Because we are parts and parcels of God, we are spirit soul, right? The first point that Bhagavad Gita, this verse said was that we are spirit souls. So then when we raise this query, if we are spirit soul, then where is the spirit soul coming from? So Mame Yangsha Jiva Loke Jiva Bhuta Sanatana, we are part and parcel of God. So we know the source of the spirit, and we know spirit is what activates the dead matter. Because at death we see the spirit moves out, the body is dead. It's the same eyes, but it cannot see. It's the same ears, but it cannot hear. The same tongue, but it cannot taste. The same body, skin, it cannot feel, touch. So spirit is what gives life. So the spirit is the active principle. So whilst in this body, we then become active. Therefore, forget about, I think, this is completely wrong mindset to say that, in this life we have to become inactive at some stage. It will still be active. Even if you become old and invalid, the mind will still be active. I get reminded of, one story of King Akbar and his minister, Birbal, very intelligent combination of a king and a minister. So, one time, King Akbar asked Birbal, when in life, at what stage in life do we become free from all desires? Basically, when do we become inactive? So, Birbal, he always had a very intelligent way of giving lessons to the king. So, he told the king that there was an old man, almost invalid. He was passing away. He was dying. He said, let us go and see that person, and then you see if he has actually become inactive, free of all desire. So King Akbar said, how will we know that? What are we going to do? So he said, when you come, you bring along with yourself your daughter, the princess in the kingdom. And when the princess comes before the dying man, you just see where does the dying man's eyes go? Should it be on the king that has come to see me that I am dying? Or he sees something else? So Akbar, Birbal and the princess, they went to the dying man's house. And when all of them entered the house, Akbar noticed the dying man's eyes went straight onto the princess. So even in his deathbed, the material desires continue to be active. And this is what exactly, when the soul departs one body, it is the desires carry him to the next body. So Krishna is saying, Prabhupada writes here, so everyone is going to be engaged in some activity. So it's better to be engaged in good Krishna conscious work. Otherwise, we be engaged in material activities, which is driven by the modes of material nature or illusory energy. In contact with the material energy, the spirit soul acquires material modes, and to purify soul from such affinities, it is necessary to engage in the prescribed duties enjoined in the scriptures. But if the soul is engaged in his natural function of Krishna consciousness, whatever he is able to do is good for him. Srimad Bhagavatam 1.5.17 affirms, if someone takes to Krishna consciousness, even though he may not follow the prescribed duties in the Shastras or execute devotional service properly, and even though he may fall down from the standard, there is no loss or evil for him. But if he carries out the injunctions for purification of the Shastras, what does it avail him if he is not Krishna conscious? So the point is that if we don't love God, then actually or effectively, whatever we may do, even under the name or the umbrella of spirituality, it actually does not add value. It does not create value. Because that's not creating the desired result. What is simply expected of us, you and I, in this world? Of course, you raise your family, you work your job, you have your home and everything. But at the end of life, each one of us, we want to, having exhausted our material existence, we want to reunite with God. Everyone, the Christian faith, Islamic faith, Hindu faith, Buddhism, anyone, any faith. Some faith may be saying we merge into the Supreme. Some faith may be saying, we enter the kingdom of God. Or, Sanatana Dharma is saying, we go to Vaikuntha. Or we achieve the stage of moksha. What is the stage of moksha? Freedom from birth, death, old age and disease. It's just a technical Sanskrit word, so it sounds like something. But the simple meaning is we want freedom from cycle of birth, death, old age and disease. Birth is not, we may sing happy birthday, but it is for the soul, for the child that is being born. Every child is born crying. When does one cry? When there is some difficulty. Right? Srimad Bhagavatam 3rd Canto describes, we are crammed up in the mother's womb, like this, and we sort of, go through the pains and whatever the condition of the mother is, in the womb. And that's the reason why we are born, we are born crying. So death is definitely, no one wants to die. No one wants to die. But, time in the form of death brings an end to us. And of course, old age and disease, we don't have to say anything about it. Disease everyone knows. And old age, you can ask all the old people. They may be smiling, but they are not happy at all. The body is aching, you can't sit down, you can't eat properly, indigestion, this, that. Yeah? So, that is our condition. Yeah? But when we awaken our Krishna consciousness, and Krishna says very, very nicely, He says, one who restrains the senses of action but whose mind dwells on sense objects certainly deludes himself and is called a pretender. So Krishna himself is saying that we have to fulfill the obligations of this world. We just can't be pretenders. We can't just say, no, I'm a spiritual person, therefore I have no responsibilities. I have no obligations. I won't do these things. I don't need to do all these things. Everyone has to. On the other hand, if a sincere person tries to control the active senses by the mind and begins karma yoga in Krishna consciousness without attachment, he is by far superior. So, karma means all the activities that we do. Karma yoga means to connect it to Lord Vishnu. Yoga means connecting to Lord Vishnu. And at our level, you and I, the most we can do in our activities is just connecting all our activities to Krishna. Just like all of us work a job, we may be we work or we run a business or we do something. So what are the fruits of this labor? What are the fruits of working a job or running a business? You run a business, you make profit. You work a job, you get a salary. So you just need to connect the profit and the salary or the salary to Lord Vishnu. And how do you connect that? By charity. This is what exactly Christians are doing. They make a point to give a tithe. And they earn an income. And the first portion of the income they give to the work of God. So that's how we connect. Then, with our income, we maintain our families. What is the main aspect of maintaining families? Food, clothing, and shelter. So with our income, we buy food. So whatever food we buy, you just need to connect your food to have a food yoga. Connected to Lord Vishnu. All you need to do is yagnarthat karmana anyatra yagna shishta shina santo muchyante sarvakil vishe bhujante tejo agam papaye pachanti atma karana. Great saintly persons, they have spiritualized their eating simply by adding a 5 minutes process into your food process. Once your food is all cooked, make an offering on the altar. Christians also do, they do wine and bread. They do wine and bread. We do whatever we cook. Krishna says, yat karosi, yad yajnasi, yad duhosi dadasi. Whatever you eat, just do it first as an offering. I sometimes admire, the Christians, at least, they have a habit of, thanking the Lord for the food that is before them. I think, sometimes, I'm wondering, how many times, all of us Sanatan Dharmis or followers of Vedic Dharma, we sit on the table to eat and we say, thank you Lord for the food before us. Interesting, we don't do. When in fact, Vedic tradition or Vedic knowledge is the oldest spiritual tradition present in the universe. The Vedic knowledge is where everything started. Yet we have lost this culture. Why have we lost this culture? Simply because, what we understand of Sanatana Dharma today is basically rituals. We are not talking about love in Sanatana Dharma. And that's exactly what is different that Srila Prabhupada did. Srila Prabhupada used the same scripture, Bhagavad Gita, Ramayana, Bhagavatam, the same scripture, the same Sanatana Dharma text. But instead of fear and rituals, Prabhupada spread the word of love. So if you love someone, it's just like children love their parents. The dad buys the chocolate and brings it home for the children. If the children are very cultured and good, they open the chocolate and offer it to the dad, say, Pa, you take a bite. The father is going to say, oh, thank you. The father is going to be overwhelmed with love. But he will say, no, it's for you. I bought it for you. But that simple act of offering it back to the Father, that is what is called bhakti. That is what is called devotion. But if the child, simply, takes out his chocolate and, from the shopping bag, does not even bother to, carry all the shopping groceries that has come, just takes his chocolate and runs to his room and, doesn't want to share with brothers and sisters. Does it give pleasure to the Father? The Father will, next time I don't get it, better not get it. So here Krishna is saying that, we just need to, the active senses, you have to control the active senses by the mind, and begins the karma yoga. So you just have to connect. So you connect your income to Vishnu, you connect your eating to Vishnu. Food, we talked about, clothing and shelter. So everyone, you need to take care of yourself and your family, you have to have a shelter. And shelter, just turn your shelter into a temple. In a very nice room like this, you have like tulsi plant and altar of Krishna, things like that. Then the whole house becomes a temple. Then you do anything in this place, then maybe you don't need to run down to North Sydney all the time. You're doing 6 days of mandir seva in your own home, and then once a week you go for the satsang of devotees and get together. Now, like this home today, it's a place of worship. This becomes like, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, this is Mathura Vas, this is Tirtha. We always believe, let's go to India for a Tirtha. But Krishna says, Naham tishtami Vaikuntena yoginam hridecha mad bhakta gayanti tatta tishtami narada. I do not live in Vaikuntha, I do not live in the heart of the yogis. Wherever my devotees are conducting Sankirtana, everyone is chanting together with love. Krishna has become present there. So inviting devotees in your homes and having scriptural recitations and having kirtans, and of course when you have recitation and kirtans and Priti Lakshanam, we share prasadam or food with one another. The whole place becomes a place of pilgrimage. What more do we need to do? Spirituality is so simple. It is so simple. I am just sometimes thinking, I don't know why can't people take it up? If you love someone, if say a young boy and a young girl fall in love, the young boy, changes himself so much because he is in love with the girl. Or if the girl, is in love with the boy, the girl completely changes, In our traditions, we see the girl gets married, or nowadays even the boys get married, whichever side they go, Let's not get technical about it, but, whichever side they go, one changes. Why does one changes for the other? Because of love. Because of prema. And that's exactly what we need to do. If we can do it for one another, why can't we do it for Krishna, who is the giver of the life? We only exist, Very nice example that comes to my mind is always like, I'm sure you have come across some people in your life who have suffered a stroke or something like that. It's the same hand, same eyes, everything. But the power of functioning from that limb is no longer there. Every day, we go to bed, do we thank the Lord for the wonderful day that He has given us, the successes that He has given us, His results, the failures that we have been through and built on it. Do we thank the Lord for that? Or we wake up in the morning and do we thank the Lord for a new day? Every day brings us new hope and advancement and can bring us closer to our goal. So, basically in today's discussion from Bhagavad Gita 3, 5, 6, 7, Krishna is telling Arjuna that yes, sometimes we behave as if we are forced to act, but the power that forces us to act in certain ways is the modes of material nature. So how do we overcome the modes of material nature? By reconnecting to God in yoga. And for you and I, householders, people of this world, we have to live in this world, we have to act in this world. It all begins from karma yoga. So offering your own actions in Krishna consciousness, connecting with God. So it is this simple. And this is exactly what Dinesh has done. It's very good background he has, Mataji and Dinesh's father. Prabhuji Visvanath Prabhu has been the temple president in Nasori center for almost 16, 17 years. Ever since we built a new temple in Suva, then he took charge of the Nasori preaching activities, making so many devotees. And very simple process. Prabhupada gave us this very simple process. Whatever we are doing, Krishna says, whatever you are doing, whatever you are eating, whatever you giving in charity, just do everything as an offering unto me. And Krishna doesn't take away anything. Krishna doesn't. You offer your food on the altar. I'm sure no one of us has experienced that you put bhoga on the altar and then when you come back to take it, everything is gone. If everything's gone, I'd say maybe there's some cockroaches and rats in your house. But no, Krishna just blesses it. He just takes the portion of love. You giving him time is an indication of love. Sometimes you see marriages break. Why does marriage break? It's simple. The two parties involved in a marriage, the husband and wife, they don't give one another enough time. And giving us one another enough time, it is just simply a symptom of love. It is just, when you love someone, you want to be with them. That's all. So when you love God, you just want to be with God. And Krishna has made it very easy. We can be with him all the time by his holy names. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. And the very simple conclusion, if you see any difference, I'm sure you must be seeing that, maybe devotees are a little different from common man. The only cause of the difference is chanting the Hare Krishna mantra. Nothing else. It is only the addition of Krishna into their lives. And they do so religiously that every day they chant Krishna's name. And that chanting of Krishna's name is the empowerment of God to save these people from sinful reactions, or save these people from hurting others, or give these people the quality of tolerance, give these people the quality of patience. All the virtuous qualities that come, it is simply coming from the holy names of the Lord. That's all. Maybe sometimes you have had few examples of, some devotees may not have behaved well, may not have spoken nice words. The root is only that they have not accepted the holy name very nicely. They are not chanting with love. That's all. If you chant with love, you'll be endowed with everything loving behavior, loving character, loving qualities. If the chanting is not connecting with God properly through his holy name, then you will have little challenges. But then Krishna says here, even if there are defects, because you are on the right path, it is still very nice. Just like in Hindi we say, when it's the laddu made out of ghee, it may not be perfectly round, but it is still tasty. So Krishna is very happy. In Kali Yuga, Krishna is very kind. He says, if you just do salpa piyasya dharmasya krayato mahato bhaya, even little progress on the path of spirituality. And what is that little progress? Sevan mukhehi jivato. Just with your tongue, taste some prasad every day and chant Krishna's name every day. That's all. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So I do not intend to make it any difficult and complicated for you. It's a very simple thing. If it was not simple, I wouldn't do it. Because I only have the ability to do simple things. So any questions or comments? Anybody? Hare Krishna. Any of my Zoom audience have a question, you can also ask. We have, I don't know how to turn the camera, but anyway, we have wonderful people here sitting around. Thank you all very much. You all encourage me, because if you were not present here today, as my audience, I wouldn't be speaking Krishna consciousness. Maybe the three modes of material nature we have talked about, I'll be in ignorance, snoring. Hare Krishna. Anybody has any questions or comments?
One.
Yes, Mataji.
You said that people are forced to act even if they don't want to. So what forces them?
The modes of material nature. The modes of material nature. Just like, a very simple example would be, if somebody, liquor is there. If the liquor is there, do we become intoxicated? No. But once you drink it, then you become intoxicated. Right? Then, we may be brothers. I would never think of punching him. But when I'm drunk, I'm going to have a fight with him. Why did we fight? It was because of the liquor. So the modes of material nature is like that. So whatever associations we have, whatever modes we are in, that is an influence. The kind of food we eat, the kind of drink we have, that has a direct influence on us. You wouldn't find, somebody drinking liquor and singing bhajans, They definitely want to swear at one another. So that's where a very normal person, when he gets drunk, he does not want to behave in a bad way. But he's helpless. He's drunk, he's lost his mind. So that is why Krishna is talking about karma yoga. So whatever you are doing, if you don't keep it connected to spirituality or Vishnu, then the very natural result would be that bad qualities such as, and you see common man, this is what it is. Kam, Krodh, Lobh, Moh, Mad, Matsarya, all these things, envious, we are competitive, we are not in friendly competition. We are in competitions to hurt one another. That's why you have this concept, survival of the fittest. Survival of the fittest really means, you are fighting for survival, struggling for existence. So I hope that makes sense. So it's the modes of material nature. So, effectively, it's another subject matter for discussion that, hopefully we can meet sometime again and we can talk about it. That how we live, how we eat, how our associations are, all this determines the modes of material nature we will exist in. So it's by qualities. If you read Bhagavad Gita, and I encourage everyone to read Bhagavad Gita. Bhagavad Gita is not a literature that only Pandits are supposed to read. Everyone, it's a book of knowledge. So everyone should read, and Prabhupada very kindly translated into English so that everyone can have access. Then later in the later chapters of Bhagavad Gita, it is described by quality, mode of goodness. People are lazy, they're not thoughtful, and then mode of passion, people are simply wanting results and achievements for their own self. Mode of goodness is where you not only selfish about yourself, you are considerate of others as well. And mode of pure goodness is that you have started seeing that everything is connected to Krishna, everything is connected to God. Therefore, when you deal with anything and everything, you can actually see God. And just like the Ramayana says, when you can see the murti of Ram in everything, that is the highest level of spiritual realization. Okay, I hope that helps.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Anything which we eat without offering, that's a sinful food.
Yes.
Sinful. If we don't offer it to Krishna,
yes,
it's a sinful food.
Yes.
Now, once we offer it to Krishna,
yes,
what happens? Krishna takes away the sinful activity out, and he gives us the nectar.
Yeah.
Then our brains and hearts and mind
purifies. Of course. That food becomes blessed. And I'm sure every one of us have experienced.
Yes.
You have, say, you have, Satnarayan Vrat Katha or Ramayana or something, a puja in your place, and you make an offering and you taste that halwa, and maybe, some guests are visiting you with tea, you make some halwa and give, so the taste in both the halwas is different. The only difference is one is blessed, one was made for sense enjoyment. So when it's blessed, so Krishna actually frees it from all karma. That is why even the same principle extends into Christianity as well, but in a little sort of a little lighter way, or in a faded way. But at least they have this culture, this habit of thanking the Lord Almighty for the food before, the hands that have prepared it, things like that. So this is Krishna consciousness actually. This is what the mentality should be, that in every action you do. So that is why Prabhupada also says, just being vegetarian is not good enough. One has to become Krishnatarian. Means offer your food.
Offering the food with the tulsi.
Yeah.
Without tulsi, no value.
Yeah. Krishna does not accept.
Doesn't accept.
Yeah.
So you offer just a meal like that,
Yeah.
it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
It's a, please, Jagannath, accept it.
Yeah.
This is my love.
And again, it's all about, when you love someone, then you will want to do things in a way that your beloved is going to be pleased. Just like, it's somebody's birthday, you go, so you want to buy, it's not that, just need to carry a gift pack. You want to give something that the recipient will like. So that's love. That's love. So similarly, then all the other, nectar of devotion and other small rituals of spirituality come in. But I think, from a higher perspective, if we can just cultivate in ourselves that how we make ourselves like temples, and our whole homes are temples, and temples are places where the chanting of the holy name happens, recital of the scriptures happen, and actually place where the living entity invokes love of God. That's the way to look at it. I don't want to make it too ritualistic and just in a bias like a religious presentation. That brings to my mind one concept. I was thinking that in different audiences I can share this with people. That actually when we have spiritual affiliations, there are actually 4 categories. The very basic category is called social affiliation. Why do we become part of spiritual organizations? For many, it's more like a social. Even the prayer sessions are more like socials. It's like in the university, you have socials, so it's a night of party and everything. So people create affiliations like that. Then the second category is called religious affiliation. Religious affiliation means we are into rituals. Why are we doing this? Because it's a family tradition. This is how it's done. And there's some fear, if you don't do this, something wrong will happen in the family. That's religious affiliation. Then the higher than that is spiritual affiliation. And spiritual affiliation means, people are, looking at something higher, some people want to understand some meaning of life, why things are happening like this. And that's where, the Brahmavadis, others, people who want to merge into God and all things. That's the third category. The highest category is that of devotees. The highest category is about loving God, which is the true nature of the soul. That's the point. So, generally, now with these 4 very brief descriptions I've given, now if you see around you or see the whole world, you actually be able to fit everyone into these 4 categories. And I think in Kali Yuga, majority of the people are on the platform of social affiliation. We want to be part of religious organization because it gives an identity. Even sometimes you say, I'm a Hare Krishna. Just being Hare Krishna is not good enough. You have to be loving Krishna. And actually when you love Krishna, then you want to share this love with others. This is the nature of love. This is the nature of God. Okay. Any other comment? Vijay Govinda Prabhu.
See, I was a Christian.
Yeah.
Born Christian.
Now you're a true Christian.
By Christian, when I was small, I had that prasad.
Yeah.
Prabhupada's prasad.
Yeah.
Today I am Krishna conscious.
Yeah.
So simple.
You're a Christian, so when you connected, you started loving God, you became Krishna.
Yeah.
From Christian to
That's what I told my
from
family.
Christ to Krishna.
I was a true Christian now.
Yeah. Actually, Prabhupada makes this statement so many times that we are the true Christians, we are the true Islam, we are the true Jewish. Actually, if you see all religious belief systems in its purest form, every religion, every faith is teaching us to love God. And when we love God, we love the whole creation. That's why sometimes I'm thinking, there's so many religious faith, everyone's teaching love God, and yet the world is so divided. Why? Because, the reason the world is so divided, even following spirituality or religious path or, so-called, loving God, is because really there is only social affiliations. So those affiliation is we are Christians, we are Sanatan Dharmis, we are Islam. There's no defect in the Lord Almighty, or you call him Lord Almighty or Allah the Great, or Krishna the All Attractive, or Ram the Reservoir of Pleasure. There's no defect in that. It is only us on the ground level, the followers, who are not obedient to the word of God, and therefore these all various faiths and systems and things have started coming to being. But Srila Prabhupada teaches us a pure devotional service. We have to rise above this. The focus should be that we are here to love God. We have to reawaken our dormant love of God. And this is not something external that needs to come into our heart. It is already there. All we need to do is, you just need to polish the diamond. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram. So, thank you very much. And maybe we can do a Kirtan, and then we can close of the evening and release it. So, thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Thank you all. Zoom listeners. Hare Krishna. Krishna jinka naam hai, गोकुल जिनका धाम है, ऐसे श्री भगवान को बारंबार प्रणाम है। कृष्णा जिनका धाम है, गोकुल जिनका धाम है, ऐसे श्री भगवान बारंबार प्रणाम है। यशोदा जिनकी मैया है, नंद जीवा भैया है, ऐसे श्री गोपाल को बारंबार प्रणाम है। यशोदा जिनकी मैया है, नंद जीवा भैया है, ऐसे श्री गोपाल को बारंबार प्रणाम है। कृष्णा जिनका नाम है, गोकुल जिनका धाम Krishna Bhagavan ki jai. Nitai Gopramanande. So Hare Krishna, thank you all very much. So whatever credit is to Srila Prabhupada and my Guru Maharaj. And if any of my words has hurt anyone, please forgive me for that. That's my own defect. Hare Krishna. Jai Srila Prabhupada ki jai. ठीक है दिनेश.
Right.